Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Block and this presentation will be on the computer and how it is such a disruptive technology. Throughout this presentation, I will showcase why the computer has influenced societies worldwide and how it has been a positive and a negative in many aspects. So without further ado, let's get right into it. It is incredibly important before talking about how the computer has changed our lives, by first talking about its origin and how it has evolved over the years. The first computer was invented by Charles Babbage between the years 1833 and 1871. What started with a simple computing computer quickly shifted to the first ENIAC computer, which was invented by John W. Mauchly and J. Presper Eckert. Between these two inventions and after, there have been many innovations made. More importantly, with these innovations, these machines began getting faster and smaller. On this slide, we can see how these computers began taking form from its original form. As the technology got more advanced, most notably with Jack Kilby and Robert Noyce in their invention of the first computer chip, technology began to advance quickly. The computer chip allowed computers to work and function at momentous speeds, without the need for massive machines to accommodate it, as seen in the computer's origination. Seeing the potential that computers were beginning to have within businesses and certain professions, people like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak created the company Apple, hoping to make major breakthroughs using this technology. It wasn't soon after that Microsoft presented Windows to the world, where personal computers were going to become more regular. Technology was coming out faster than most society could handle it, and I even remember my parents thinking how crazy some of this was. It was a major shift, where computers were getting much more powerful with the Pentium microprocessor being implemented in 1993, and the internet becoming more advanced and prominent. Putting the computers and the internet together would change the world forever, and would bring people closer together than ever before. We just had no idea how drastic it would be, myself included. As if these technologies weren't enough, in 2007 the first smartphone was introduced, showcasing a new era of technological innovation that would change literally everything. What might have started with simple communication over the internet, using computers for email and through instant messaging on programs like AOL Instant Messenger, this new advanced capability allowed for us to have literal computers in our pockets, giving us access to those abilities and more. Say goodbye to hard copy address books. Say goodbye to an age where if you wanted to send an email, you would have to use your personal computer or a public computer somewhere. It was now doable with a device that always kept you connected, that could fit in your pocket. As the internet began to evolve and software engineers were able to orchestrate new code that made information much more accessible and connected, it wasn't long until platforms of social media were made connectable to mobile devices. We literally entered an age where if you had a question, you had the ability to Google it and get the correct answer within seconds. As computers became more advanced to our modern age, it has changed the way we communicate in general. What started from the capability of emails swiftly developed mobile phones that allowed us to communicate to anyone in the world, regardless of where you were. That's if you could get service, but let's not go there right now. It changed the way we could access and use social media, and even allowed for businesses to take advantage of programs like Skype, giving limitless options to keep our personal lives and professional lives at ultimate convenience. More importantly, it changed the way we conduct ourselves with others, especially with different businesses. We now no longer have to go to the bank with mobile banking. We no longer have to go to the grocery store. We no longer have to go to the mall for clothing or any products for that matter. We're even getting into an age where doctors can screen you through FaceTime, especially for less urgent matters. Life as we know it, it's just changing, and it continues to change. With this new technology, it has affected me in so many different ways. While working or at school, it has given me the ability to communicate with my friends and family while studying, but also giving me the ability to min-max my time. Over the course of my life, I have had the opportunity to work in some of the most unique jobs in the most unique places, one of which was being a game bird farmer in Minnesota. There was a downside to this job, and that was the farm in the small town being located in an area that was referred to as rural. This meant that the internet was not exactly accessible or common, like in more populated areas like the cities, the major cities. However, with satellite internet being a thing, I was able to get enough speed to do my schooling and do it pretty much anywhere around there at the time. Not only that, but it allowed me to stay connected to my friends and family while living in this remote region in the United States. Furthermore, throughout my jobs as a farmer and a heavy machine operator, computers have impacted me heavily with the machinery itself. It allowed me to upkeep maintenance like regularly, brought hazard or problems to my attention immediately, and allowed me to ensure I was doing my job safely and effectively. We are beginning to see a transition within the business industry with computer innovation. While working for a card company, which made all the materials that go into producing cards with magnetic striping, some examples of what I'm talking about are identification cards, credit cards, gift cards, almost any type of card you can think of, even when it doesn't require a magnetic stripe. I saw firsthand as robots began to be implemented because of the chip industry that is taking place within cards. It replaced someone's job. After that worker had programmed the machine and fine-tuned the spec for creating different jobs for companies worldwide, this took place in in my place of work. So I can't imagine how much of it is going on in major businesses worldwide. People's livelihoods could be at risk, and it just blows over with no headlines. We see computers getting more advanced, making some of the luxury items that we all love, like televisions, GPS systems, more advanced kiosks. The list goes on. But computers are becoming normal in our everyday lives. Never before in our history have tasks or chores been so convenient for everyone. We literally don't have to leave our homes for almost anything. But regardless of actually going out or not, even places we still have to go to have computers, making our lives even more convenient. Whether we order food at McDonald's at a kiosk to avoid a line, or ordering via your phone and picking your order up, it has made these overall experiences so much nicer. We are also entering an age with modern technologies that flood our homes. With air conditioning systems being modernized, window shades being electric, we have the ability to control every function of our homes by the touch of our phones. While we can clearly see the positives of this advanced technology and the impact computers have, there are major cons associated with its production as well. Having all these convenience items, regardless of their luxury, it ultimately makes us all lazier. There are even plans for companies like Amazon to have drones start delivering packages, especially in well-populated dense cities. It also has many risk factors involved with these new technologies. Becoming so reliant on these things and having them all connected in some form or another, it makes us and them susceptible to hacks, which can quite literally shut everything down. It also has gray area within these products, where certain operating systems go out of date, requiring people to buy the newest and better product. We also begin seeing laws that are being implemented that make it harder for consumers to buy older products. We see examples of this happening in cars, where people are actually rewarded for buying electric cars, all while people are getting extra taxes or payments for cars that happen to be gas guzzlers. Lastly, although I have mentioned this earlier, these new computer systems and technologies are replacing people's jobs, and it's only really going to get worse in the future. We see evidence of this in Martin Ford's Rise of the Robots technology, when he explains that computers are becoming proficient at requiring skills, especially when a large amount of training data is available. Entry-level jobs are being heavily affected. I've already mentioned my coworkers beginning to get replaced by robots in the car industry, amongst other industries, but it is also taking effect in much less obvious manners. An example of this is in the newer and more advanced farming equipment. Nowadays, if there is a mechanical error or an operational error via computer, it requires the manufacturer of that product to bring their computers and fix the problems. While it sounds handy and convenient, all those people coming to fix it do it at a cost, rather than farmers being able to do all the mechanical work themselves, which can be much more cost efficient. With computers nearly running the equipment and tracking the progress, when these computers are not functioning properly, it causes many inconveniences for farmers, along with other industries. While much of this might eventually work itself out, it is still causing a multitude of problems, causing serious problems for businesses worldwide. This brings us to the next conversation of where do we go from here? It is obvious that we are more or less committed to this further innovation of computers and technology alike, so we must continue to evolve to fit these industry standards. How many years from now will people become obsolete in nearly every job? With computers, there is no relying on people showing up to work, no relying whether a person can adapt to certain situations or tasks. It's obvious there, while technology adapts, we have to adapt too and find other methods of income or other specializations that aid this advancement or change. I like to think of it as the technical revolution, and it will be very interesting to see how we as humans handle it. As Martin Ford said, it's a good bet that the field of robotics is poised to follow a similar path. We are, all likelihood, at the leading edge of an explosive wave of innovation that will ultimately produce robots geared towards nearly every conceivable commercial, industrial, and consumer task. I appreciate everyone listening to me, and I hope everyone enjoyed this brief presentation on computers and how it has become and will continue being a disruptive technology. People can oftentimes get caught up and lost in how nice and convenient this technology has made our lives, not knowing some of the consequences others are facing because of that transition. It's important to understand these changes and becoming aware of them, especially now before it's too late. While we are more than capable of the change and conform society accordingly, there still might not be an answer for its immediate implementations. Just keep in mind that some of the reduced costs for products might have been possible because someone losing their job to a robot. We have a long way to go to ensure these innovations are implemented appropriately. Like Marshall McLuhan said, it's much more important what we do with technologies like computers rather than these technologies themselves. Again, my name is Andrew Block, and I appreciate you watching and listening.